Hello, I'm James Wooten. I'm going to spend about 5 minutes talking about the quantum error correction papers that came out this week, and I'm going to do it all in one take because otherwise it will take too much of my life to create this 5 minutes. So let's see how it goes. The first paper is pipelined correlated minimum weight perfect matching of the surface code. So this concerns a decoding algorithm for a quantum error correcting code. What is a quantum error correcting code? It's a thing that we run on a quantum processor where we make a bunch of measurements where we know what the result should be, and if the result is something different, it's a clue that something's gone wrong. We make a huge amount of these measurements. We're extracting a vast amount of information very quickly from the quantum processor. We're doing that constantly, and these are just giving us clues as to what might have gone wrong, but we need to process that information to tell us what has gone wrong and what to do about it. And you do that by means of a decoding algorithm. Now, when we write papers in quantum error correction research, typically we run this on simulations. It doesn't matter if it takes a few days, as long as it gives us a nice little graph that we're going to put in our papers. But when actually running quantum computation, the decoding algorithm has to keep up with the computation, and running them that fast is going to be a significant challenge. So this is some progress towards making sure that a pretty fancy version of a very important algorithm, which is minimum weight perfect matching, uh, can run very fast on a very important code, which is the surface code. Um, so it's a great piece of progress towards the things that we need to do to practically get quantum error correction running. Okay, next paper, multiplayer, multi-team, non-local game for the Toric code. This isn't a quantum error correcting code paper, but it's a paper about the Toric code. The Toric code is a quantum error correcting code, but as with all quantum error correcting codes, it uses very interesting correlated states. So this sort of exotic kind of correlation that is unique to quantum physics, which is known as entanglement. And there's all kinds of interesting things that can happen with entanglement, and they are looking at some of those interesting things. Next paper, optimal mitigation of random telegraph noise dephasing by spectator qubit sensing and control. This is one of two papers by, I think, largely the same author list on spectator qubits. Spectator qubits are when you have some qubits sitting in your quantum processor that are just there to feel the effects of noise that are also being felt by the qubits that are actually involved in your algorithms. And then you measure the spectator qubits to get a sense of what's going on in the actual algorithmic qubits. Now, this is philosophically similar to what we do in quantum error correction and how we design quantum error correcting codes, but it's I'd say not so rigorous. I don't know if that comes off as being a bit of an insult, but in this work that they have done in these two papers, they've shown that it actually can be very effective at dealing with noise. So it's not an area I know a lot about myself, but it really looks like something that's worth looking into. Next, quantum error correction in a time-dependent transverse field Ising model. So this looks like they're kind of generalizing the repetition code to be a more useful quantum error correcting code, which is something that has been done a lot. A lot of quantum error correcting codes can be thought of as generalizations of the repetition code, but this seems to go in a new direction, inspired by the transverse field Ising model. It kind of looks interesting. How did they get this inspiration from the transverse field Ising model? Where are they going with it? How is this working? Kind of seems like there could be some interesting inspiration in here. The codes that they come up with at this time, though, look like they have limitations. Their distance or their error correcting power is kind of limited. But it could be an interesting first step into a new direction. Okay. There's also this interesting paper that I didn't really have a chance to look into enough, but it was the one that was really getting a lot of attention on psi rate today, the battle of clean and dirty qubits in the era of partial error correction. So I just thought I would mention its existence, even though I don't really have anything to say on it. Another paper to talk about is realizing repeated quantum error correction in a distance-free surface code. This did not go on the arXiv today or this week, but it did go in Nature this week. So it got published in the journal Nature. And it's an implementation of a distance-free surface code, the first implementation of a distance-free surface code. The surface code, incredibly important paper. Distance-free is the first way you can actually correct and detect errors. And so it's a really cool experiment. It's one that I've been hoping to see for years, and I'm very glad that it happened. Uh, in Switzerland, where I work, it happened on a hill that I pass by on my commute, so I can wave hello to the surface code as I go into work. But yeah, that's the end of what I want to say, so let's wave goodbye to the surface code. Bye.